Hi, Dr. Pat here. Getting ready to leave on an adventure up to North Carolina to go sailing with a leadership coach and her husband. They use sailing as an experience and a metaphor for leadership development. As you can see, the natural analogy there. And I began to thinking about the competency I wanted to speak about today, presence, coaching presence. It's really my most favorite coaching competency because even as a psychotherapist, as a psychologist, I had to be present. I had to build rapport. I had to create empathy. I had to create what Carl Rogers called that unconditional positive regard, that sense of safety that clients had in relating their story to me to overcome dysfunctionality and angst and pain and all that happens in therapy. But in coaching, we call that presence. And presence is much more than being present. Presence is getting ready, being prepared, focusing on the client, getting rid of your distractions. All of that you have to do in sailing, so you can see why my thought went this way. But when I think about Carl Rogers and his unconditional positive regard, he was a master. That was a key moment in helping professionals' history and related to more than counseling. If we had conversations with everybody with unconditional positive regard in that moment, we could change the world. And then I think of Martin Buber, another person that influenced me. Martin Buber spoke of the I-thou relationship, the connection that human beings meet. There's an I, there's a thou, there's a we. And when I get excited about what coaching has become, I think coaching became more apparent on the landscape because it related to that lack of connection that human beings feel in this world. I went to Tanzania a few years ago and I did a trek for 19 days with 10 other men called an adventure. It was an adventure with an inward looking to self-reflection, and we learned from the tribal leaders that a very common phrase in Africa is when people greet each other on the trail, they say, "I see you," and then the other person responds, "I see you," and then they both say, "We are here." Now that's presence. That is what, when I have a coaching conversation with somebody, my best coaching conversations, I prepare prior to the call. I encourage my clients to prepare, to close the door, to not be on the LA freeway on a cell phone. In fact, I won't allow that, but to be present, to be ready. And then when they come to the call, I make sure, is there anything you need to debrief or get rid of, just to be present in this moment. So that's what presence is about. It's a key coaching competency. It's the ultimate coaching competency. If you create presence, magic happens. Coaching is a conversation that if it hadn't happened, it wouldn't have. The change wouldn't have taken place. That's the key. People can speak out loud to themselves all day long, but when they speak in the presence of a coach, that coaching conversation is the magic, not the coach. The presence is the magic. And remember, you cannot explore new oceans if you're afraid to leave the shore. See you next time, Dr. Pat.